Thank you for coming to Empowerment Through Creative Writing. I'm Melissa Wild. I'm alumni of Buffalo State's Creativity and Exchange Leadership Program. And throughout the program, I've just, been interested in lifelong learning as well. And writing really became my passion. Like I just found that was where I really tapped into more of my own creative resources. So from there, I wrote a book and then became a hypnotist and then wrote another book. So I wanted to share with you my writing process to help you to get in touch with, like your intuition, deeper creativity, and some empowerment. So with that, I'll have some guided questions. Yes, like I said, I published 2 books. So the first one, Wild Intuition, I kept doing these workshops and, teaching people ways to access their intuition, use music, nature, their surroundings, just wherever you were, tapping in and knowing that there's so much more to learn and so much more to discover. And kept having people ask me, where's your book? And I'm like, it's in the cloud, working on it. So put it together. So the first one, Wild Intuition, some activities, bullet points, examples, stuff that you can do to get out there and explore, the nature of yourself and go deeper. And from that, there was just so much more. So then I decided it was time to go into fantasy fiction. And so from there, at Wild Intensity, it's a erotic, hypnotic, metaphysical adventure, past life, future life, and a story of the life that I hope to someday live. And in the talk today, I'm going to share with you an activity from the first book and a story from the second book. But don't worry, I know we're in education, so it won't be too erotic, but it's a fun story. It was the one that kicked off the whole adventure. And so you might want to get a pen and paper because we'll be going through some writing activities from here to the end. Okay. So the process that I want to share with you, it's your observation, just knowing that wherever you are is a channel to be inspired. So just observing your surroundings, if it's in your office, for me, I'm going to tell you about the story of this picture. And, looking at what's there, the architecture, decorations, people you observe, any sounds like music playing or, animals if you're out in nature, even the advertisements that you see, just kind of like, what's speaking to you, what's grabbing to you, and what's it telling you. So putting together and making the connections between what you're seeing and what's going on in your life, what's going on in your mind, your life experiences, any emotions that may come up, and taking the time to just write about those things. Because, sometimes you move on to the next thing, and before you know it, all those thoughts are gone. And it's like, oh, what was that thing? It seemed really important. And just writing it down. So I'm like, in this picture here, I was out in the rain. So naturally, I didn't have my phone or paper or anything with me, but it was just like, as soon as I got somewhere I could sit down, I just wrote and wrote and wrote, and everything just flowed. So I was at the beach in the rain, but it was a warm rain, and I had just left the cold, snowy Western New York. So to me, the rain was like a welcome break from the snow. And just in that moment, seeing the rainbow, it looked like an illuminated path, and the sign with the love. It was just like such a happy, like a feeling of like awe and inspiration. And in that moment, I just was like, I had such inspiration for what was going to come next in my life. So I just wrote out all those things, and it just it inspired me, and everything I wrote ended up happening later on in one way or another. But it just inspired me of the winter is going to end, the seasons are going to change, everything's going to improve. And then this became one of the chapters in Wild Intensity. So are you ready to go for a virtual walk with me?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay. So in this, I'm taking you on one of my absolute favorite Western New York hikes. I want to know, where are you standing? In your life and the place. What do you see around you? And where do you want to go? And what's your favorite season or your favorite place? And how do you feel as you think about that place? Totally embody the feeling, those memories, whatever comes to you that just feels the best about what it is that the place and the season reminds you of. Maybe it's a season of your life. Maybe it's a time of the year. Maybe that season has a color, theme song, or people. And if you could feel all of that, and just write about any of those thoughts, those feelings. And if you could embody all of those feelings as we move along the walk. And how do you navigate the way forward? What is just beyond your immediate vision? Do you follow the path you see in the image on the screen, or do you make your own? And what unexpected challenges might you face? Totally unplanned, but actually perfect. So the phone ringing, absolute barrier. Not going to answer it. How about you? Do you ignore those calls that you don't want? Totally irrelevant. What about the signs that are in the way? So on this hike, there was, walk down like 800 stairs ish, get to the bottom, knowing where this path leads, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's my favorite part of the hike, but it's barricaded off, saying that the trail's closed for rockfall potential or whatever. So in that moment, I thought, I know I can take responsibility for myself. It's my favorite part of the trail is up ahead. So I climbed up and over and around those barriers and proceeded on. Would you do the same? Would you go beyond the barriers? And what actions empower you to press forward? And I got to know, do you want to see what's beyond those barriers? Okay. So that's the end of the trail. What do you see where you are? You take in the elements, and feel the strength of the rocks beneath your feet. Knowing those rocks are sturdy, they've been there for millions of years, and they're going nowhere. And what about the river? Where does the river take you? Now imagine as if you're in the aerial car. What do you see from above? What do you see as if you're removed from any potential challenges or struggles? Where are you going? What takes you to the best place forward? What story will you write to live your best life? Are you ready to move beyond? Now I invite you to share any observations that you made along the way, any questions you might have had, and any connections that empowered you in your story. You can feel free to unmute and speak up if you wanted to share. It's always fun to hear, when we've all looked at the same images and had the same questions, but everybody has a different perspective just on, where their mind is, their background, their experiences.
I'm happy to hop in here, Melissa.
Sure.
My name is Maggie Kubler. I'm in Denver and I'm a grad student at Buff State. And I'm actually a writer myself. So this is a perfect exercise for me. One of the interesting things that I took away from this, though, is when you posed the question about would you go past the barriers? I like to think of myself as somebody who's being a bit rebellious and a bit creative, but I wouldn't actually go beyond the barriers because I'm just not interested about what's over there. So it wasn't a matter of like I'm a rule follower. It's more along the lines of I'm not interested. I'm interested in the path I'm already creating.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you're happy right where you are. That's perfect.
So,
Thank you for sharing, Maggie.
thank you.
Hi, Melissa. I'm
Hello.
I would also jump in and just say, as a non-creative writer, this was lovely. This was such a wonderful time in my day to sit, and I loved your prompts. I loved walking through them. I ran down the fun little rabbit hole of the music that I would be like listening to and like what my theme songs would be for like that stage and everything. And it really kind of brought some of my story to life in a really new, wonderful way. So thank you. I really, really enjoyed this.
Oh, you're welcome. I inspire you to pay attention to that music everywhere you go. You find the more you tap into it, the more it's going to come.
Hi, Melissa. This is Kathy. And
Hi, Kathy.
what I liked and was a takeaway for me was using that creativity tool of point of view. And I hadn't thought about using that in writing, of being able to think of the story or the experience from various points of view in the big picture that we're looking at. So thank you.
You're welcome. Suzanne?
Yes. So one of the things I really liked was the finding something amazing about exactly where you are, or finding something that really attracts you. And it's not quite how you said it, but our house was hit by the storm surge from Hurricane Helene. And right now our first floor is gone. I mean, we have walls, but that's really it. And so there's no curtains, there's no shears, there's no nothing. And we have this gorgeous natural light coming in through the house like never before. And it was in doing this that I realized that as I walk through the bottom floor, as I go back and forth, it always hits me. Oh, beautiful natural light. This is fantastic. But I don't notice it. It was like here in this, I was like, oh, right. That is this like amazing thing that is flooding our home. I know it's just really I enjoyed hearing the fact that I say that every day and I don't really pay attention to it. So that was
Oh, thank
cool.
you. That's so exciting to hear.
Hi, Melissa.
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly share my reaction. I love the journey. I have a tendency to storytell through visuals first, and then see what it says. And so I did a little drawing while I was listening
Oh,
to
that's
what you're
beautiful.
saying. And my drawing really, I'm trying to think what the story is, and it's really keeping your feet planted on the ground when you're talking about the barrier. There are some barriers I'm finding, but it's keeping your feet planted on the ground when like a big storm comes. And so I appreciated it. It sort of made me realize some certain things in my life that I'm dealing with right now, and I really appreciated the journey. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for sharing your drawing.
I
Your
think I'm
drawing
going
makes
to have to drop off now, though, for mine.
Yeah.
For mine. So thank you very much. It was very interesting.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. Did
Hi.
anyone else?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, I really enjoyed that. I hiked that trail last summer and and so I kind of went on a trip on memory lane and I just love it. So thank
Oh,
you.
that's so fun. Yeah, it's a great hiking trail. I've been trying to recruit people to go with me this winter, and they're like, that's like an icy death trap. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, yeah, but it's my favorite.
And there you go past the barriers again.
Yeah,
It's the getting back up again that might be tricky.
true.
What is the name of the trail?
It's Devil's Hole State Park, and then it connects with Whirlpool State Park. And it's right along the Niagara Escarpment north of Niagara Falls.
Oh,
Yeah, and I want to thank everyone who attended, and I'll stop the recording here.